So if we could meet our experience right now, this moment, without any conditions, without any limitations, without the past, without any stories about myself, my life, my relationships, my future. Which are passing thoughts and sensations and images and feelings. Rather than entertaining the shape of the clouds and their density and their frequency. Let us turn our attention towards awareness, the reality that hears these words, that which has no form, no shape, no color, no size, no gender. That which does not come and go. That which I am. Not that which appears via thoughts and sensations, memories, feelings. But that which is undeniable across time and space. That which is of absolute certainty. Erroneously, we give credibility to that which appears. Erroneously, we give credibility to a story, line about an imagined character. In relationship with others. Erroneously, we mistake ourselves to be mortal body-mind. We fall in love with sensations and thoughts and feelings and images and stories. And we go deeper and deeper into the illusion, into the tunnel looking for light. We explore every crevice in the darkness, looking for ourself, while here we are. Here I am. God's light, the light of being shining effortlessly. As freedom, as peace. Not the freedom and the peace that comes from relationship or from certain situations. But the freedom and peace that is the very fabric of existence, the very fabric of myself and the very fabric of everything. The mind resists having nothing to do and nothing to seek. The mind resists the absence of problem. And so it sets imaginary goals for an imaginary character. The mind resists the peace of being, the causeless peace of being. And creates an imaginary character and invites it to go out and find peace somewhere out there, in relationships, in friendships, in situations. You need to be clear about your desire to be somebody. You need to be clear about your desire to be a person, loved, respected, honored, wealthy, healthy. Your desire to be mortal. Because for consciousness there is no mortality. It is only at the level of the ignorant mind, at the level of ignorance, that there is so-called mortality, birth and death. So you have to step out of that old model of birth and death and into your true self. This formless, transparent, effortless, causeless and borderless aware presence. And if you do not step out of the old model of me, this person, this man, this woman, this mother, father, daughter, sister, uncle, teacher, philosopher, driver, if you don't step out of false identification, how can you hope for self-knowledge? Given you already defined yourself and stamped yourself and molded yourself according to your whims and wishes and thoughts and feelings. How do you expect to awaken to your eternity, to your formlessness, to your infinity, to your invisibility, to your reality, which is one reality. If you look at the farmer, how the farmer loves the land and works it, seeds it and waters it and watches over it. Similarly, you need to do your part as the farmer of truth. To notice the weeds, the false beliefs, the illusory storylines, the various illusory ways in which you define yourself. To see the weeds, the thorny bushes, You can hide for only so long. Sooner or later, 20, 30, 40,000 lifetimes, sooner or later, it's your turn. It's your call. You hear the message. You perceive the challenge. And what you do is up to you. You have all the help you need. It's never been absent. God's grace across the board, ever present. God's love. Beyond any doubt. Doubting God's love is a trickery of the mind that still wants to remain in the cave, solving problems. Time to step out into the light. You are the light. Okay, so if you have any questions, you're welcome to pose them. But to start with, Umer, I read your question, talk about loneliness. There is such a thing as aloneness, meaning right now in this room, I am alone, meaning in this body mind is in the company of just you guys online. There's no other person that I see in this room. So that's being alone. And to be alone in the true sense of the meaning of that word is to be all one. As all oneness, as the aloneness that is all oneness, there is nothing missing, nothing lacking, nothing that I am seeking. Because in that all oneness is the totality, is the wholeness. I recognize myself as the one and only, not the one and only body-mind, but the one and only reality that is shining and dancing as all world body minds. On the other hand, loneliness refers to ignorance, meaning imagining yourself to be a mortal body mind, to be a man, to be Umer. And to consider yourself to be a form, a mortal form in relationship to other forms, to other mortal forms. And so you experience a certain relative peace when you are with friends, and loneliness when your friends are not around. Now, given that we are the human form is a social animal form, we do interact with each other, and we do enjoy interacting with each other. Except, of course, when ignorance is on board, then there are the competitive games and the blaming games and the jealousy games and the anger games and the negative emotions. But when ignorance is not on board, we do enjoy coming together, interacting, sharing, playing, creating, celebrating. And that is a natural flow of the human dynamic, especially when we are more and more in harmony with our true nature as one reality. Then our interactions with each other is a sweet interaction, loving, caring interaction, not testing each other or seeking anything out of each other, not placing conditions onto each other, but rather making space in the relationship for the other and sharing the space of friendship, of love with the other. But as truth lovers, when we experience loneliness, we take advantage of this opportunity to explore the nature of this experience, that I am lonely, and the experience of loneliness is related to the sense of separation, the belief that I am not connected with you, I'm not connected with the other. Because our true connection with each other is not just in the visible realm, it's also in the infrared realm, in the ultraviolet realm, it's also in other realms besides the visible range. We are friends as protons, as atoms, as electrons, as magnetic fields, as heartbeats, as human dynamics, as planet Earth inhabitants. There are so many interconnections between each other that are not visible at the mind level, but when we contemplate as truth lovers our loneliness, we realize that it's just such a narrow point of view. And we take advantage of these feelings to explore what lies beneath the loneliness, which is love. Love for each other, love for truth, love for God, love for reality. That's a very different approach from the approach we take in ignorance about wallowing in our misery. Why am I so lonely? Why am I not loved? And how come they love her and they don't love me? In ignorance, we just stay in the mud and we throw mud at each other and we throw mud on ourselves. Rather than looking at the situation from the perspective of intelligence and wisdom, we perceive the situation as personal, from the personal, narrow perspective. Oh my God, why is this happening to me? What's going to happen to me tomorrow? So in loneliness, it is up to you to take the opportunity of loneliness rather than to make yourself subject of loneliness. Sometimes when you are truly surrendered to God's grace, not sometimes, but that's how it works when you are surrendered to the universal rhythm, the universal harmonics. That's when the magic, the serendipity occurs. So you have to step out from your cave. Any questions? Hello, Holger.
Hello, Magdi. Some days ago, I watched an animation on YouTube about the cells, how it looks inside of a cell in the body. And this was so amazing to see all the little details and all the little interactions. And then to see how there are trillions of cells maybe in this body mind. And it was just so amazing to see how much harmony there is everywhere. And I feel really privileged to be here, and I see the beauty of this teaching, and I see my resistance, my ignorance on many levels, and there's just such a generosity in life to be able to see this love and to just be here. I mean, just to breathe, not to be hungry, to sit in the warm, to have a nice computer screen in front of me. I have everything I need, and I have more than I need. Yes. And it's just so beautiful. I mean, it's quite amazing. What a gift.
Absolutely.
To simply just be here. I can go, I have no pain in my body. I can go to the bathroom without any help. I have running water. I can cook myself a meal. I have food in the refrigerator. I mean, it's so simple, everything, and it's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
Mm.
And you know that same appreciation that you're expressing doesn't depend on anything. And yes, of
Yes.
course, there is a gratitude and sort of to be so amazed by how it all works, you know. But also there's the understanding that there is a peace, the peace of being, which is complete freedom, the complete freedom of being. And there are no accidents in life. In each one of us, at every moment in our life, we're experiencing what we're experiencing. Everything is in its perfect order. And it's very beautiful when we come to that understanding. The understanding is like the understanding of the order in what seemed to be chaos. You find the harmony. And, it's beautiful when you come to that junction in your journey where there is the right vision, the inner vision, the cosmic vision. That's the heart, the core of our meetings. Which we never truly leave, which is never apart from us. It shines in everybody's heart as God's light, God's truth, the universality of being. Such beauty. We are one as that.
But then so fascinating that in this harmony and beauty, all this madness is allowed of the separate model.
There is no madness. It's a mind impression.
Okay, yes, okay, but yes, yes.
There's only one reality, one truth.
Yes. But it's for my separate self perspective, I experience this as madness, but I understand how this came about.
From the illusory self. Everything is illusion, taken to be real. It's a package deal. The illusory self and the illusory world. the envelope and what's inside the envelope.
Yeah. Yes. And sometimes the packaging is more beautiful than the content.
Yeah, that's the lure, you know, the shiny hook in the water to catch the fish. But from the perspective of love, all is love. It has no opposite. There's no opposite. There are no faults within love. It's a default line within reality. It is the delusion of the mind to create problems and to engage itself in that conversation. I think there are even classes in the universities of problem resolution or conflict resolution. Good luck resolving conflicts at the mind level who is enamored with conflict. Because very existence is about conflict. It's like using a sword to make peace. The war that ends all wars. Oh, yes. I've heard that. I heard this one before, no?
Thank you.
Okay, Holger. Any questions?
Hello, Magdi.
Hello, Marga.
When Holger was talking, it was reminding me so much of some experiences I had this week when I recognized a pattern of more, the way there's some habitual seeking of more when things, I guess there were, well, not a story, but just, I think that's a tendency towards novelty or something interesting or the next thing. And when I sat with it for a little bit restlessly, there came an awareness of actually how overwhelming nothing is all around me, that even just sitting with nothing, it's almost like I was running from it because it's so overwhelming. Like breathing, I started being aware that that's like you know, like when you're really thirsty, how delicious water can taste. It's like just nothing is delicious and almost overwhelming. And that sense of gratitude that Holger is so good at expressing, you know, it seems so silly then in that moment how that it's overwhelming, and yet here the mind is telling me to seek more. I can't handle more. That's enough and more. So I just wanted to share that because when Holger was talking, I felt the words very closely to my own experience. But thank you so much for this space and for sharing like you do so often.
It's our shared space. It's everybody's space anyway, and God's space. There is such a simplicity and beauty about simply beingness. It's more like not being anything or not being anything else, but just this not knowing, being not knowing. It's the simplicity of it and the beauty of it come hand in hand. Effortlessness. And yes, like the habitual aspect of the mind that wants to look in the direction of something. Even if it's an old painful habit that the mind got so habituated to that it's as if it became numb to the pain, so habituated that it doesn't even notice the pain of efforting to move away from being, from the simplicity and the ease of being. The mind's activities has a lot of escaping methods, escaping from being, is as if it's at all possible, sort of distracting itself from presence. And so hold on to something, you say, hold on to something, pursue something, let's move in a certain direction. As you said, more, maybe something else. Something more, something else to feel, to experience, to push against. And it's not like it's a movement towards happiness. Far from it. It's a movement that starts with something is lacking, something is missing, something I need, something is wrong, something I should have. Things should be different. It starts from unhappiness. It overlooks that consciousness does not know unhappiness. There's no such thing as unhappiness in God's realm. It's just the human mind assuming separation is real, proposing that I, this effortless, aware presence, is a woman or a man, somebody who's born in such a town. I am the mortal body mind. From then on, there's no rest. You have to protect, defend, accumulate. You have to feel good, have to get somewhere. Serve my country, my family, whatever. Any questions?
Hey, Magdi, it's Frank. I'm on the phone today. I couldn't get in on the Zoom.
Oh, hello, Frank.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hey. Here you go. Okay, so first of all, I want to thank you for these. I feel so lucky that Holger told me about these, Zoom meetings. And thank you for that. Thank you for always being here. It's such a great thing. I'm not taking it for granted at all. So appreciate your time and your wisdom and everything. It's so great. So the question I have today is, sometimes I get lost in these questions come up a lot, and one of them is because I really feel like I have a good understanding, even like a very almost like what's the word I'm looking for? Like I have really a very deep understanding. I feel at this point that, you know, we are not material beings, that we're like, there couldn't be a consciousness within the body. That's so clear to me.
Yes.
So we're living in, we're part of, we are consciousness itself.
Yes.
But I wonder how, the question that comes to mind, it's coming from the force, the body-mind level, I guess, that wants to know how consciousness is able to sort of like not inhabit, but have all these different expressions in the form of body-minds, even though they're not material, but yet not like, I can't really experience anybody else's experience. How does consciousness block off all these different experiences from one another, since it's all one?
Yes.
That always comes up to me. Anyway, I hope I was able to ask that in an understandable way.
Yeah, I understand your question, Frank. So I don't know that you can understand it, but maybe you can accept it. The following, or be open to this model that obviously consciousness is real, awareness is real. I refers to this awareness to consciousness. So obviously that is beyond any doubt. And obviously there is perception, sensation, there are worlds, bodies and minds, there are thoughts, there are memories there. So that is undeniable. Given that there is one reality, then we have to accept that this one reality is manifesting itself as this conversation right now, as this perception right now, as this sensation right now, as this body-mind form right now. We have to sort of accept it because it's a fact. It is our direct experience. Now, it could be that one could say that as a way of speaking, that consciousness is dreaming this experience, like we dream various experiences in our night dream. But it doesn't matter whether we call it a dream or consciousness manifesting itself as this, or creating these impressions within oneself, like the ocean creates waves from itself without augmenting itself or diminishing itself, or it creates currents within itself without augmenting itself or diminishing itself or changing itself in any way. It remains as it is, the ocean. So I'm not sure that you can really understand that, but what I just shared with you, and you need, of course, to double check, for yourself, it works, it aligns itself with your experience. In other words, it is your experience. And again, you need to double check that for yourself, that consciousness is real. And that as well, there are perceptions, sensations, and thoughts. And given that consciousness is real, therefore, the reality of all these thoughts, perceptions, and sensations are this one consciousness, and they're not apart from consciousness. And therefore, if anything is creating them, it must be consciousness. And if they have any reality, their reality must be consciousness, which is my reality, the reality of I. So that's one sharing I wanted to do with you. The other question about how and why, or how can I comprehend or understand that consciousness hides certain aspects from itself to itself. In other words, how come right now I do not know Frank's mind? I do not know exactly what you are thinking. I don't know what you are sensing. I don't see what you are seeing. So you could ask this question, how can I comprehend that? Well, that's how it is. Now, you can't comprehend it, but you can accept or even come to understand that this, in terms of the play that consciousness obviously is creating, because it's only one creator, one reality, one truth, it makes sense within our experience in terms of the play that consciousness is creating, that there would be certain aspects of our experience that we don't know. For example, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know, once I walk in, to say hello to Tara in a few minutes, what she's going to say or what room she's going to be and what she's going to be doing. I don't know. But that is an aspect of life which makes life interesting. It's not all predictable. It's not like, you know, you've already read the book 1,000,000 times and you're reading it again and again and again. What sort of fun it would be to read the same book. Okay, if it's a great book, you can read it 2, 3, 4 times, I don't know, 10 times, but 1,000,000 times? I mean, how about 20 million times? No. Obviously, the sense of mystery and the variety and the differences in you, the way you speak, Frank, the way I speak, the way Harley speaks, or Holger, the way we express ourselves, the way we move, the way we laugh, the way we interact. It's exciting, it's interesting, it's playful. So consciousness loves to create and loves to play, and it's a great choreographer and it's a great composer. And one of the choreographies and composition that it has created is one could say the story of consciousness identifying itself with a mortal body mind and then realizing that it was not such a fun game. I don't know if I addressed your question, Frank, the way I understood it.
Yeah, thanks, Meg. You know, I actually, as I was asking the question and then you started answering it, it sort of came to me that I can't know, the body-mind can't know what another body-mind thinks or feels or experience what somebody else is experiencing, because that's what, and I don't even know if I can explain this, but I know what I'm trying to say. I think once consciousness sort of like has these, like you were saying, it's almost like it's dreaming that it's all these body minds, and then it wakes up to itself, right? So yeah. Part of becoming that body mind is forgetting that there are that it's all one, and all the body minds stem from the same source, I guess, is one way. So forgetting is part of the game, right? Forgetting is part of the game, right?
Yes. Well, there are two types of forgetting. There are two aspects of forgetting. There is the forgetting that although I, as consciousness, perceive via Magdi's mind and via Frank's mind, there's only one perceiver. Although I, consciousness, I'm perceiving both minds, I choose to forget I, consciousness, not I, the body mind. I, consciousness, choose to forget what Frank is perceiving right now, and I also choose to forget at the location of Frank's mind what I'm perceiving, I, consciousness, I'm perceiving via Magdi's minds. In other words, although consciousness is perceiving both Magdi's mind and Frank's mind, at the level of Frank's mind, it plays the game of not knowing what Frank's mind is, and at the level of Frank's mind, it plays the game of not knowing what Magdi's mind is. I hope I didn't mix it up. But I think
yes. No, that's good. That's good. That's good. I'm getting this. I don't know. I'm surprised that I'm getting this, but I am.
Okay, that's one aspect of forgetting, which is fun, because it wouldn't be fun talking with you if I know exactly what you're going to say and I know exactly what the next things you're gonna, you know what I mean? It's more fun.
Yes.
So that's the aspect of the forgetting, which is playful. There is another aspect of the forgetting, which is not so much fun, which is I, consciousness, forget that I am the one reality. I forget that I am universal consciousness, that I perceive through all minds. There's a difference between choosing to forget that at Magdi's mind, not knowing Frank's mind and at Magdi's, Frank's mind not knowing Magdi's mind, there is a difference between that forgetfulness and forgetting that I am the one reality. So in other words, right now, although I don't know what you are thinking, I don't know what you are perceiving, I know that I am you. I know. It's hard to explain. It's not like knowing that 2 + 2 = 4. It's a deep knowingness that there is one reality, and that the reality that we refer, that is perceiving through Frank's mind, is the reality that's perceiving through Magdi's mind. There is no doubt here about that, no doubt. But in ignorance, and that's a form of forgetfulness, meaning when I'm identified as Magdi, and so in other words, consciousness now belongs to Magdi, and there is a different consciousness that is Frank's consciousness, and a different consciousness that is Kelly's consciousness. From the perspective of multiple consciousness, which is ignorance, that is a forgetting that is unhappy, because then I do not sense the love that we share. I am cut off from our wholeness. I'm interested in you more or less, but as long as you're not threatening me and it's good, there's something good in it for me. I'm speaking here, people love me, I'm great, yeah, that's in ignorance. You see, we're cut off from the love. That is a different type of forgetfulness that is bitter. So there is a sweet and there is a bitter. And we have no issue with the sweet. That's why the bitter. I mean, bitter is too mild a way of too kind of a way of speaking about ignorance. It's tragic. It's devastating. It is terrible. It's miserable. You follow the distinction I was trying
Yes,
to make?
yeah, yes, I do follow that. Thanks, Maggie. Yeah, I've had many experiences where, like, I've had the experience of having somebody, like, I've looked back, like I was just standing there by myself, and I looked back, I was feeling some kind of sensation in the back of my neck, and somebody was staring at me from behind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's got to be like the one mind, right?
Yeah,
interacting or something, right?
Absolutely.
And I've had it the other way too, where I've looked at somebody from behind, and they look at me like, "What are you looking at?" Like that kind of thing. But
yes,
the reaction may not be so great sometimes, especially where I live here in Boston. Everybody's paranoid, but it's like it's like that. That's a very obvious thing to me, that we're connected by something, and that's the consciousness.
Yes, and the more is clarity in your life, in your mind, and in your life about the one consciousness, the more validation you will have from the universe about the one reality being the correct model. In my case, it's astounding. Is with being with Tara, so many times, I mean, on a daily basis and numerous occasions, each day, Tara may say something, and I was just going to say the same thing, or she would be referencing something, and I was just thinking about that, and vice versa. It's like we're no longer astounded by it. We just sort of giggle, because yes, it is one consciousness, and the more you adopt this model, and the more this model becomes manifest in your life, it will prove itself to you over and over.
Yes. Very good. Thanks, Maggie. Appreciate it as always.
Okay, Frank. Thank you. Okay. Any questions? Okay, well, so thank you all. Very lovely to be with you. Adrienne, hello Adrienne, Marga, and Holger. Holly, hello Holly. Esther, hello Esther. Zoe, Umer, hello Umer. Kelly, hey Kelly. And John, hey John, and Frank.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maggie.